Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. நான் பேசுறது கேட்கவே இல்ல.
Yes, ma'am. Your voice is audible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
கேக்குதா?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, all. I think it's time.
Good morning,
so
sir.
If everyone is there, so we can start. Good morning, Dr. Elizabeth. So if everyone is on board, we can start now.
எனக்கு கேட்கல எதுவுமே. I'm not able to hear anything.
Am I audible, Dr. Elizabeth?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it's audible.
So I think we can start now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, please start.
Crazy, you can start. Recap. Crazy, you can start.
Sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, you are audible.
Camera connect cannot start the video now.
Hello.
Okay. Good morning to one and all present here. On behalf of Department of Biotechnology, School of Sciences, Hindustan College of Arts and Science, in association with NIDM, I once again welcome you all for the third day of our 3-day online training program. Let us start the session with a recap of yesterday's session. I invite Dr. R. Ishwaralakshmi, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, HCAS, to present the recap of day 1 and 2.
Okay, good morning everyone and welcome to the third day of the 3-day online training program on community-based disaster risk reduction for biomedical waste management, jointly organized by National Institute of Disaster Management, NIDM and Hindustan College of Arts and Science. My name is Dr. R. Ishwaralakshmi and today I am assigned to refresh you the events of the day 1 and day 2 of this program in brief. Let's get started. My great respect to the patron, convener, resource person, coordinator, professor, and research scholar, and a special greeting to the Honorable Director, Dr. Susan Martandan, Principal, Dr. S. Thirumagan, and Vice Principal of Academics and Research, School of Sciences, Dr. S. Elangiam of Hindustan College of Arts and Science. My special greetings to the program team of NIDM, all the dynamic department heads and lecturers of the Department of Biotechnology, Hindustan College of Arts and Science. I would highlight the crucial events of the day 1 and day 2 of this training program with the quote, "More powerful than the will to win is the courage to begin." Our day 1 was initiated with the introduction session led by Mr. Ali Haider, Junior Consultant, NIDM, followed by the overview of the program explained by Dr. C. Elizabeth Rani, Head, Department of Biotechnology, Hindustan College of Arts and Science. We also got inspired by the welcome address from Dr. S. Tirubangan, Principal, Hindustan College of Arts and Science. In his talk, he mentioned about the necessity of the biomedical waste management in the society. Special address of the day 1 session was delivered by Dr. Susan Matandar, Director, Hindustan College of Arts and Science. The session was further followed up by the keynote address from Professor Santosh Kumar, Head of GIDRR NIDM. Further, vote of thanks was addressed by Dr. S. Ilanjiyam, Vice Principal of Academics and Research, School of Sciences, Hindustan College of Arts and Science. Day 1 of this training program started with a technical session from Dr. Andrea Mary, Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research on the topic Sources and Types of Biomedical Waste. The next talk, entitled Prevalent Diseases Through Biomedical Waste, was featured by Dr. S. Lalita, Department of Microbiology, Vivek Laboratories. Last speaker of the day 1 was Mr. Ali Haider, Junior Consultant, NIDM, who delivered his great insights on community-based disaster risk reduction and management. Open house question and answer session with the audience was led by Ms. Pracy Jaibal, Department of Biotechnology, Hindustan College of Arts and Science. In the end, the vote of thanks for the day 1 training program was addressed by Dr. T. Ramesh, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, Hindustan College of Arts and Science. Our day 2 session started with recap of the day 1 by Dr. Amir Kushro, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology. After that, the warm welcome address was given by Dr. L. Krishnaswamy, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, Hindustan College of Arts and Science. He wholeheartedly welcomed our respected speakers and highlighted the recent achievement as well as theme of the glorified talks in brief. Day 2 of this training program started with a technical session from Engineer H.T. Varlakshmi, Regional Director, Central Pollution Control Board, Chennai, on the topic Biomedical Waste Management Rules 2016. She presented various aspects of biomedical waste management rules in an elaborative fashion. She discussed the status of implementation of biomedical waste management as well as objective, application, and features of rules implemented. She also explained the segregation, packaging, transportation, and storage rules of biomedical waste in order to handle them safely in different sectors. Next talk, entitled Indian Policies and Environmental Law for the Management of Biomedical Waste, was featured by Dr. M.D. Dwaraknath, former Member Secretary and Director, DSTE. Pondicherry Pollution Control Board Committee. He highlighted directive principle, policies, and fundamental duties of citizens towards waste management. He also mentioned not only about various safeguards included in the biomedical waste management rules, but also disclosed storage plan of those biomedical waste as a future preventive strategy. Last speaker of the day 2 technical session was Dr. R. Vigila Christie, Quality Manager, Microbiology Department, Vivek Laboratories, Nagarkovil, who presented her views on standard operating procedure and methodologies for effective management of biomedical waste. Initially, she provided the general overview on the classes, sources, and categories of biomedical waste. Further, she enlightened different methodologies adapted for the effective management of biomedical waste. Open house question and answer session with the audience was led by Mr. Prabodh Singh, a young professional NIDM. In the end, vote of thanks for the day 2 training program was addressed by Dr. R. Nirmala, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, Hindustan College of Arts and Science. Now, I would like to hand over the session of this 3-day training program to Dr. Nirmala, Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology, Hindustan College of Arts and Science, for her welcome address. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, all. I welcome you all for the 3rd day of online training program on community-based disaster risk reduction for biomedical waste management. It is my privilege to welcome today's technical session speakers. Now, I welcome the first speaker, Dr. Sadashivam, Associate Professor, Department of Microbial Biotechnology, Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore. Today, he will deliver the talk on bioremediation of aquatic systems contaminated with analgesic drugs. Welcome, sir. The second speaker of the session is Dr. Tanga Mariappan, Principal, Vivek Laboratories, Nagarkoil, and he will deliver the talk on Impact of Biomedical Waste on Environment and Human Health. Welcome, sir. Next, I welcome the third speaker of the session, Dr. C. Elizabeth Rani, HOD, Department of Biotechnology, HCS, Chennai. She will deliver the talk on need of biomedical waste management system in hospitals and emerging issues. Welcome, ma'am. And I welcome our valedictory address speaker, Dr. S. Elumalai, Professor, Head Department of Biotechnology, Registered University of Madras. Welcome, sir. And I also welcome Professor Santosh Kumar, Head GADRR and DRR, NIDM, and Mr. Ali Haider, NIDM, and the organizing team from HCS. Dear participants, we have eminent speakers for this final session. So enjoy the session and get enlightened. Thank you. Now we proceed with the technical session. So I invite first speaker of the technical session, Dr. Sadashivam, to proceed with his presentation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Nirmala. First and foremost, I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
First and foremost, I would like to thank NIDM and Hindustan College of Arts and Science, Chennai, for having me here for the 3 days program. So my special thanks to Dr. Amir and Dr. Elizabeth for making all the communications. Yeah, I'm affiliated with Bardiyar University, working in career guidance and running my lab in Department of Microbial Biotechnology, where I'm heading the lab, Bioprocess and Biomaterials Laboratory. So I'm overtaking many different research, especially designing biomaterial for tissue regeneration, wound healing, cartilage repair. Simultaneously, I'm working on some sort of environmental remediation, since my part of my PhD is focusing on making the environment good to live for all the future generations. So I have concern over the environment as well. So in this aspect, one of my students is working on the degradation of drugs, or PPCP, we can call it as in a generic terminology. In part of that, like I'm here to talk about the degradation or the removal of some sort of analgesic drugs. Okay. So in the past 2 days, I think you are very familiarized with what is biomedical waste and how it could generate different types, solid, liquid, and different treatment options, policy, and so on. So I'm not going to once again detailing about the fundamentals. Right away, I get into the research problems that is related to what will happen when we use the excess of drug. The drug which we use it for very purpose, how they will end up into the environment and what will happen after the human usage. So that's a real concern behind the today's discussion. So let me give you a brief introduction. This different substances coming under PPCP, pharmaceutical and personal care products. Okay, so they are used in a different application. From the name it suggests, it is a key component in different pharmaceutical as well as cosmetic products. Okay. Starting from lip care, or the body lotion, painkillers, whatever you name it. The actual problem is, even though the concentration of such compounds found in the water bodies at the very low level, like microgram to nanogram, though it looks very tiny or very minimal, but the hazardous effect produced by such compounds are very huge. That necessitate the removal of such compound from the aquatic system. Okay, so in which my point of research is only the analgesic drugs. Analgesic drugs are generally called it as painkillers. Okay, nowadays taking painkiller is very common among the youths and elders, irrespective of the age spectrum. because all are going through, some sort of stress in our day-to-day life. And even, if you take the kindergarten kids, they complain like, some, how to say, indiscoverable pain or some pain which is very vague. Okay, so those pains are classified under stress symptoms. Okay, so they want to get rid of it and they want, a perfect human body without any pain, but unfortunately it's not possible, right? So they tend to take more, painkillers in the form of either a gel, I mean, topical application, or taking some pills. Okay, so these two are the very common mode of taking analgesic drugs. Okay, so whatever the mode or whatever the state of the drug, if you look at the prescription, definitely it contains some sort of analgesics, especially acetaminophen. Okay, so not only acetaminophen, the diclofenac is also one of the strong contender in pharmaceutical active ingredient. So whatever the analgesic drug it may be, they have such compounds. Okay, the compounds are great because it gives us a relief, but unfortunately they are very much resistant to the natural degradation. Hence, it will be present in the environment as it is. Okay, it's like a coin. Like the nature of coin, if you dump the coin into the environment, it will be remain as such, for many decades. Like then only it will slowly disintegrate into some form of mineralization or something. So likewise, basically three types of drugs we can name it under analgesics. One is NSAIDs, non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs, whereas acetaminophen, diclofenac will fall in. Then there are two types of narcotic drugs. One is narcotic drug ascites, another one is non-narcotic drugs. So these three are the important constituent or type of analgesic drug. So here is the classification which I mentioned. If you see the drugs coming under NSAIDs are diclofenac, pyroxicam, naproxen, and so on. Whereas in non-narcotics, paracetamol, I think we all familiarized with paracetamol. So one such pain reliever. Okay, so narcotics are generally not prescribed to the common consumption. Even paracetamol is banned in many countries because it also having some serious side effects. Okay, so hence in the grown nations like states, Western countries, where it's not easy to get those generic drugs which we can get it in India effortlessly. It's not possible to get it in such grown-up nations. Okay, because they have stringent norms. They won't see the consumer. They will also care about the discharge that came from the person who is consuming the drug. So they give that much importance to the environment also. So the last one, narcotic, as I said, morphine. So that is extremely used for unbearable pain, like when the person is undergoing some musculoskeletal injury or bone fracture. So where acetaminophen alone is not so effective. So in such case, they give some sort of narcotics, generally morphine, along with acetaminophen to reduce the pain. Okay, so this is the basic classification of the analgesic drugs. Some examples on how they will work and how one can get such analgesic drugs. But whatever the drug which we are talking about under analgesics, they have extreme amount of consumption by humans, and they are directly discharged into the environment, whether it is a soil or aquatic system, through unregulated usage, and we do also not having a proper treatment plans for removing such components from the household wastewater. Okay, so as a result, it will directly dumped into the environment. Okay, so here in this presentation, I would like to show you 7 or different research methods or approaches to remove or to degrade such analgesic drug from the aqueous system. Okay, so those are all the model studies or pilot studies, because the study for degradation or removal of xenobiotics is already already well established for some of the recalcitrant compounds like dyes from dye industries, phenolic compound from paper and pulp industries. Those are old gen contaminants, whereas in the present era and the future, the contaminants are mostly from the pharma and personal care products, because now we can find organic fibers, organic glass. Still majority of the people are using synthetic one. But what I'm trying to say is those contaminants, that the treatment plan is well established. The same methodology or same treatment option we can't adapt for the removal of analgesic drugs or PPCP, because they are extremely having a different behavior. So we can't eliminate such molecule using those approaches. Okay. So here is the case number 1, where the common drug diclofenac, how it could be removed from the aqueous system using different biotechnological approach. As I said earlier, diclofenac consumption is insanely high. You can see it is over 1,000 tons, okay, per year. Where we won't get that much enzyme load commercially, because the commercial enzyme is highly expensive. Even few milligrams would cost us around 10,000 rupees. Okay, so in such cases, relying on commercial enzyme preparation is not useful. So here the enzyme which I'm talking about is lactase. Lactase is a kind of copper protein, oxidoreductase in nature. Okay, so what people will do basically, they try to use the natural substrates like apple pomace or dried alpha fibers. So these are all different solid waste generated from the fruits. Okay, as you know, the fruit peel waste are excellent. How to say, nutritional composition in it. It's having a proper carbon nitrogen ratio for better growth of anything, since it could be used for growing fungi, as well as it could also be used as feed for some sort of animals as well. So here such fruit waste are used to enhance the lactase production. So that will enhance the lactase production to a greater extent without investing a significant cost. Okay, so as a result, we can easily get the lactase to degrade significant amount of diclofenac. So this is the concept of the study. So here are the results which they got. So here the diclofenac is converted into a metabolite. So this is little bit of chemistry once again. So I just tell you the different components. Those are formed after the reaction between lactase and diclofenac. So mostly they form the intermediate in the nature of, or in the form of, hydroxy diclofenac with a different carbon alignment, 3' or 4' or 5'. So the major reaction which
Sorry to
involve
disturb you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, your slide is not moving. Could you please check it, sir?
So for me, it's moving.
For us, it's in second slide, sir.
Can you see the slide now?
It's an introduction only.
I don't know. For me,
Second slide, sir. Second slide.
for me, currently I am showing slide number 5.
Sir, could you reshare it, sir?
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Yes, sir.
So which slide can you able to see now?
Second, sir. I'll tell you it's loading. Now we are in fifth slide, sir.
Yeah, it's okay, right?
Yes, yes, sir. Please proceed, sir.
So can you see the slide, right? I mean, the with some structure.
Yes, sir. It's about hydroxy
Yeah. So those are all the metabolites that are formed during the lacase action with the diclofenac. The another advantage of using such method is you can identify what's happening when you know performing a reaction with the enzyme. In many cases, it's very hard to demonstrate scientifically what is really actually happening inside the reaction. But in case of lacase-based reaction, where it is well established, you can identify the intermediate, those are formed during diclofenac. So those are all the metabolites, hydroxydiclofenac. It could be 3', 4', or 5', depends on the carbon alignment. And the reaction which is happening to degrade the diclofenac into the metabolites are mainly hydroxylation. It's a kind of oxidation reaction in which the CH bond is oxidized into carbon hydroxyl bond. So that is the reaction happening in hydroxylation reaction. So that is the main reaction which help to convert the substrate or drug into metabolites. Okay, so those are all the findings, and using this case study, more than 90% of diclofenac degradation can be obtained for the concentration range of 500 micrograms per liter, that too in just 5 hours. Okay, so that is the significance of study. Otherwise, the drug will be present as it is in the environment. So can you see the next slide? So this is a table on my left-hand side corner. So the slide is moving, right? Someone can confirm so that.
It's not still in slide 5 only.
No?
Yes, sir. Now it changed with the graph, bar graph.
So if it is viewable, I will go ahead this format. Maybe some issue in presenting as it is. Okay, so this is another approach. So whenever you use the free enzyme, it is not recoverable, which means the enzyme which we use for the reaction can be used only once. Okay. So that is why people will immobilize the enzyme. So that concept you might have studied in second year or third year. If you are UG or PG students, you are already familiarized with the concept immobilization, which means the very purpose of using the word immobilization is to use the enzyme for many subsequent reaction without having the need of constantly adding enzyme to the reaction mixture. So here they use 3 different approach. In one study, they use the enzyme as it is, whereas in the next, the enzyme is conjugated with some sort of matrix. The third one is magnetic carrier. In the second case, the enzyme is cross-linked with anything. It could be, polymer or beads or some solid substrate, okay, whatever it is. Whereas the magnetic carrier means, even if you immobilize the enzyme in beads, okay, so the beads are big enough, so you can collect the beads or recover the beads using filtration, or you can take it out the beads through some apparatus or tools. So during that filtration, there may be a chance that the beads may may undergo some damage. As a result, the enzyme may be leaked out from the substrate or matrix. Whereas magnetic immobilization is a new one. It's not relatively new. The concept is there for almost a decade, where the enzyme is loaded onto the magnetic support or magnetic carrier, basically iron oxide nanoparticles like that. So the idea behind the magnetic immobilization is you can easily collect the magnetic beads through external magnetic field and apply the enzyme for subsequent reaction. So in which you can see the enzyme activity is less in native lacase, that is the first category, whereas immobilized lacase always need more amount of lacase, not significantly high. Comparatively, more enzyme load is required for immobilization purpose, but it could be used for many cycles. Okay, so thereby you can avoid the cost that is associated with enzyme based drug degradation. So this is one approach, but it took relatively longer time. Okay, so it took almost 24 hours for the degradation of 10 microgram of diclofenac. So this is the second case study I would like to discuss with you. The first one is just using different substrate for enhancing lacase production and use it for drug degradation. Whereas immobilization approach is followed to degrade the drug for few number of cycles, up to 10 or 12 cycles, you can use the same support. But technically it's a bit complex to design the magnetic immobilization. So this is the another concept. The third case I would like to show you. So here two different fungal strains are used. Okay, so for the earlier one which I have shown you is only the enzymes that is extracted from the fungi. Here the fungi alone used for the degradation of a group of drugs. Okay, basically two different fungi used, Ganoderma platum and Latioporus sulphurus. Okay, so those two strains, fungal strains, are used for the degradation of cocktail drugs. So here are the name of the drugs used for degradation: celecoxib, diclofenac, ibuprofen. Okay, so two different fungal strains were used for the degradation of drugs alone, which means degradation of diclofenac or celecoxib or ibuprofen individually, and all the three drugs were mixed together to form a drug cocktail. Okay, and the same strains were used for the degradation of the drugs as well as the cocktail of drugs. So here, as I said, the fungals are directly, the drugs are directly inoculated with the fungal strains, and they wait for certain days to check the degradation. The enzyme which I mentioned in the previous cases, that is lacase, is also secreted by those fungi. So the fungi will degrade the drugs or the drug mix present in the media, okay, through extracellular mode. So the fungi will secrete the enzyme to the media component via extracellular secretion, and they will degrade the drugs alone or in combination. In addition to lacase, the fungi also having other oxidative enzymes like LIP or lignin peroxidases or MNP, manganese peroxidases. But on the right hand side, I have shown you three different graphs in the order of lacase, LIP, and MNP, where the unit of lacase is close to 4,000 units per liter, whereas LIP it is in the range of 50. MNP it goes up to 250 to 300. So what my point is, among the enzymes, LIP is the highest secreting enzyme from the fungus to degrade the drugs or drug cocktail. So this is the third case study. So you get a chance to understand how or what are the different methods available for the degradation of drugs. So these are all some of the mathematical simulation which we applied to ensure The degradation which we obtained at the laboratory is matching the mathematical simulation. Okay, we used to call it as kinetics, adsorption kinetics. Okay, so this is the case study, and celecoxib is most degraded or most removed, followed by ibuprofen, and finally the diclofenac. So this is the order of removal as shown by the fungi, 2 different fungi. Okay, so that is the case number 3. In the 4th case, in the first case, as I said, apple pomace is used to enhance lacase production. The same concept is used here. Here, the fungi is cultivated with a different lignocellulosic waste. The fungi which I'm mentioning in this presentation is white rot fungi. I think you might have noticed the fungal growth on the trees. When you go to the places where the moisture is high, you can like Sirvani in Coimbatore or some hilly regions like Ooty, Kodaikanal, where you can spot some fungi which grown on the tree bark. Okay, so those fungi are called it as white rot fungi. Even most of the mushrooms are coming under white rot fungi. So what they will do, they have the ability to digest the lignocellulosic compound of the plant biomass. Okay, so here they use the same logic, like they grow the fungi in culture media abundant with lignocellulosic waste to enhance lacase production. Once they achieve the enhanced lacase production, that is easy for them to apply for diclofenac degradation. Okay, so that is the table says like among the different lignocellulosic components, rice bran is used to enhance lacase production to a considerable amount, like 13 units per ml they obtain. That's a very good number. Okay, so yeah, you can multiply 13 into 1000. The amount is this is more than 5 digits of enzyme activity. So that is highly enough to degrade a good number of or good concentration of diclofenac. At the same time, they tried different diclofenac concentration to test the tolerance level of the fungi. Okay, so they started at the range of 0.1 mg per liter to 10 mg per liter. Even at 10 mg per liter, the fungi is withstanding the hazardous effect of the drug to a greater extent. Okay, so they choose 10 mg per liter of diclofenac for degradation. You can see the graph. The red color peak, where here, somewhere here, that is the major peak or characteristic peak obtained for diclofenac. So that is in the range of 275 nanometer in UV visible spectrum. So after the treatment with the lacase, that you can spot the black curvy line. The peak height is drastically reduced, which means the diclofenac degradation is is completely achieved using lacase within 2-hour time interval. Okay, so that is the logic. Then they use the extract to treat. We call it as phytotoxicity. The extract is poured onto some plant seed germination, and they test the level of toxicity the compound is exhibited towards the plant growth, where you can see it doesn't affect the germination. As compared to control, the germination percent is almost same, like it's a slight difference. It also supported the growth of the fungi in terms of root and shoot length. Whereas if the aqueous solution contained the diclofenac alone poured onto the plant germination, it exhibited almost 35-40% of reduction in seed germination, as well as it affects the root and shoot length of the plant. So the study confirmed that The lactase-based drug degradation is highly safe for the environment. It will not affect the ecosystem of the environment. So that is the case number 4. Case number 5. Okay, I'm talking about the enzyme, right? So where the enzyme is coming from actually. So the enzyme which I'm talking about is mainly harvested from the fungus. Okay, especially when we grow the fungi, we get the enzyme. So what we will do with the fungi after extracting the enzyme? Imagine, fruit juice preparation. So we use fruits to extract the juice. Okay, once we get the juice, what we will do with the fruit waste? We just simply throw it into the environment. But it is also having, huge potential for many different applications. So likewise, the biomass, that is the fungal biomass obtained after the enzyme recovery, after a week or 2, the biomass is subjected to carbon preparation. So how you can prepare the carbon from the biomass? For carbon preparation from any substance, you have to heat the raw material into a high temperature. I would say it's more than 400, 500 degree temperature. If you heat to that range, anything will be carbonized. Okay. So the same approach is followed here to obtain the carbon from the fungal biomass and used for pyroxicam absorption. So the same way, if you remember the water filter, household water filter in our home is contain mainly such component. They mainly have filters or cartridge, and if you open the cartridge, you can see the carbons. Okay, we call it as activated carbon. That carbon could be processed this way. They may be used different raw materials for the preparation of activated carbon. The same logic, here the biomass is carbonized for the pyroxicam drug absorption. Okay, this is considerably a significant waste. The biomass, we can't do much with the residual biomass. So instead of throwing it to the environment, better we carbonize and use that carbon for the removal of such analgesic drugs. So this is the idea behind the study. Number 5. In addition to that, once we prepare the carbon is placed in zinc chloride. Okay, so what is the purpose of placing the carbon in zinc chloride? When you put the carbon prepared from the biomass under zinc chloride, it will open up the pores in the carbon. Okay, so how your water is purified in the water filter unit which you are having it in your house? The water is flowing through the carbon. The carbon is having some activated groups that will catch the contaminants in the water. Okay, so you will get the clear water. So after some 3 or 4 months, or after reaching the saturation point of some liters, you need to change the cartridge. So in the fresh cartridge contain only the activated groups or functional groups, whereas after usage, the contaminants are present in the the contaminants will go and bind to the carbon surface. So likewise, to maximize the absorption efficiency of the carbon, here we treated it with zinc chloride. So as a result, you can see the table. The last one is the biomass prepared by us. The next one is surface value by bed study. You can see that the surface area is high for our biomass, which is treated with the zinc chloride. Okay, so that is the significance of treating the biomass with the zinc chloride. As usual, the removal efficiency of the biomass is quite high. Okay, so it could remove up to 100 mg of pyroxicam in a very shorter time. I would say less than 90 minutes. So these are all different studies to confirm the efficiency of biomass-based absorption. Okay, so this is the case number 5. And there will be a question like whether the biomass can be used again. Yeah, you can use the biomass again. For that, you have to remove the already bounded contaminants on the surface of the carbon by treating the biomass with some solvents like alcohol or acetone. So there are different components available. They will facilitate the removal of the compounds bounded onto the carbon surface. Okay, so this way the same biomass could be used to remove the pyroxicum for several cycles, 7 to 10 cycles basically. Afterwards, the biomass will lose its integrity. Hence, it cannot be useful for anymore. So this is the case number 5. The next one is biochar preparation. Biomass, carbon from biomass and biochar is slightly different. So here the idea is, I think you all know the butterfruit or avocado, where after opening up the fruit, you will find a humongous seed in it. So the seed is once again, no useful after, taking the fruit from taking the pulp from the fruit. So the same seed could also be carbonized to make a biochar, and using that biochar, we can immobilize the enzyme lacase for the degradation of acetaminophen. This is another, interesting piece of idea. So all ideas which I'm discussed here is we are just trying to get some valuable product from the waste, and the product could be once again useful for the bioremediation purpose. Okay, so this is the concept. Let's see how the efficiency of this method. So you can see the images on the left-hand side where the biochar is, the first image is just the biochar, then it is treated with citric acid. That will help, we call it as functionalization approach, okay? Because the protein is having some functional group on both ends, carboxyl and amine. So the idea is to immobilize or cross-link the amine and the protein to the acid of the biochar. So this is the same image. That is how the enzyme is trapped onto the biomass. So once again, the removal efficiency is better in, the next image is once again, glutaraldehyde used. Glutaraldehyde is a great cross-linker, which will help the enzyme to cross-link onto the biochar surface. Okay. So this approach also very promising approach. This is also used to absorb almost 10 mg of material is used to remove 30 mg of the drug acetaminophen. Okay, so this is one such idea. The mechanism, two mechanism can be happened. Some drug may directly bind to the biochar, that is called as biosorption. Some drug material will undergo degradation because of the lacase present on the biochar. So the lacase attack the drug acetaminophen via oxidoreductase reaction. So this leads to the formation of radicals like free radicals. So the nature of free radicals is they are short-lived. So which means they can active for a while. Before that, they will cross-link with each other and form different dimers or oligomers. So the nature of dimers or oligomers are generally less toxic. Okay, so this approach is also quite safe. The another one case is like two drugs are used for the same immobilized lacase. Sometimes the drug one will help the degradation of drug two. Acetaminophen is a good substrate for lacase, whereas if you treat lacase with carbamazepine is also a drug coming under the category of anti-convulsant and the mood stabilizing drug. So directly lacase have its limitation to degrade the drug carbamazepine, but when you put carbamazepine with acetaminophen, it will help to achieve the degradation in a quick way. So the single drug is called as a single system. The mixture of drug is usually called as binary system. In binary system, the efficiency is high. I think I'm running out of time. So these are all the different approaches. Why the binary approach is better? As I said, once the acetaminophen is degraded, it can form a different intermediate or transformation products. Those transformation products will help to degrade carbamazepine. That's why binary system is helpful in the degradation of drugs. So one last study. So far I discussed the example of NACIDs, non-steroid anti-inflammatory drug, degradation or removal. Then non-narcotic drug degradation of acetaminophen. This is the last example how the narcotic drug like morphine is removed by lacase. So the same approach, morphine is also given to cancer patients to tolerate the pain. We all knew that how miserable the life of cancer patients are, and the usage is also quite high global wide because of the high rate of cancer incidence. Okay. So the liver, the morphine is generally metabolized in the liver like any substrate, where it transformed into morphine 3G and morphine 6G, and they got excreted into the urine of the patient. Okay, and it also end up in the environment. So when we use the lacase, it will help to degrade at a greater level. Okay, like other drugs, it can also remove morphine at the range of 100 mg per liter within 30 minutes. Either it is M3G or M6G, both forms could be successfully removed by lacase. Here lacase is immobilized with polypropylene beads. Okay, sometimes it could mix with magnetic area or polypropylene beads, depends on the expertise of the researcher or the need of the research problem. Okay. Yeah, so morphine also could be removed effectively. So what I'm trying to say at the end, using the same system, it could use to remove different type of analgesic drugs irrespective of NACIDs or narcotics or non-narcotics. Okay, so that is the thing. And this is the percent removal of morphine. Like it could effectively remove 6 gram to 60 gram of morphine. Okay, in 6 hour time. That's very promising research. So these are all the 7 different case studies. I would like to place it before you to highlight some of the promising methods for the drug degradation in the field of biomedical waste management. Okay, this is the conclusion remarks of the presentation. Though the enzyme is offering great specificity and promising results for PPCP degradation, it is still in the pilot study, as I mentioned, because increasing the yield of the enzyme, because it will significantly increase the cost of the operation. So there are some bottlenecks in the enzyme production and application. So hence, there should be certain things need to be considered, like how to keep the enzyme stable for operating long and harsh reaction condition, and how to reuse the enzyme effectively for number of cycles. Okay, and some cases they use mediators. They help to achieve the faster degradation, and in such cases, the toxicity should be completely studied before it goes for commercial applications. So these are all some of the advantages and disadvantages of the system which I discussed with you today. So thank you. I think I little exceeded my time. So yeah, so that's it about today's presentation. I thank you all for patient listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. Sir, actually, I have one question to you. So you used different substrates like iron oxide particles and zinc and char. So what is the advantage of the substrate, sir? Which one is having good effect of holding that immobilization is strong in which substrate? Is there any significance behind the selection of substrates, sir?
Yeah, that's a good question indeed. Actually, different substrate is used, I agree with you, but depends on the applications. Like magnetic carrier is not essential in my opinion, because for sensitive assay like cancer marker detection, we can go for magnetic based immobilization, where the separation is easy, nothing but otherwise the same point of benefit we will get with magnetic immobilization. Beads are better in my choice because for industrial applications, enzyme beads are so far the best in terms of recovery, as well as it doesn't require much of complicated or much of complicated fabrication. So it's easy, like just mix the enzyme into the beads and use it for all that. But everything has its own limits. The leaching of enzyme from the beads is high in case of beads, whereas if you cross-link with magnetic beads, it bound to the magnetic support strongly. So enzyme, how to say, enzyme leaching is not easy in case of magnetic immobilization. So each has its own advantages and its disadvantages. Any other queries?
Sir, I recently saw one publication with the electrospun fiber immobilized with the lacase enzyme. How you see that immobilization, sir? Is it good for this kind of application, sir?
See, there are a number of articles. Not all is quite useful in terms of commercialization. Electrospinning itself is not easy, and it's a bit of complicated procedure. So people try different, methodology to, how to say, to reveal their idea behind the removal of such, how to say, drugs or contaminants. So that is one such approach. Yeah, but for industrial applications, once again, I'm not sure how electrospun material is useful, because the enzyme, the lacase is also coming under, I mean, it's electrochemistry. So maybe they have some logic in using the electrochemical spun or fibers for immobilization.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice presentation and for the QA session. Thank you for your nice presentation. We'll
Yeah,
meet soon,
thank you.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anna, yes. Yes. Now I invite second speaker of the session, Dr. Thanga Mariyappan, Principal, Vivek Laboratories, Nagarkoil, is going to give the talk on impact of biomedical waste on environment and human health. Over to you, sir.
Very good afternoon to all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Please let me introduce myself. I am Dr. K. Thangamariappan, Principal of Vivek Institute of Laboratory Medicines, Nagarkovil, affiliated to Dr. MGR Medical University. Before that, let me congratulate, especially I would like to express my sincere thanks to both the organization, NIDM and the Hindustan College of Arts and Science, who have recommended the topic waste management, biomedical management, waste management, since it is a very emerging problems, not only in India, all over the world. So for that, so I congratulate them. So today, let me talk about impact of biomedical waste on environment and human health. So in this aspect, PPT is not moving. Okay.
Slide move பண்ணுங்க. Second slide. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Could you see, ma'am? See it?
Now it's second slide.
Okay. Okay. So The persons who have presented before me have given enough information on biomedical waste. So I don't like to give you any more introduction on the same topic again. Just we are going to see that the outline of biomedical waste. So which contains either solid or liquid or intermediate waste, which is generated during diagnosis of human beings or animals or in research center, already you know. So out of these three forms of biomedical waste, we should be very careful about dealing liquid and intermediate waste. Since both of these waste bearing water component, which may encourage the growth of biotic system. Moreover, this is not only biomedical waste and also here acting as good media for growth of microorganisms, especially the biomedical waste, especially acting as enriched media. Enriched media which can encourage the growth of wide variety of bacteria, especially fastidious organism. As you have known that fastidious organism is not easy to cultivate in laboratory unless providing blood agar, blood serum or other enriched source. But all those components are available in biomedical waste, which indirectly encourage such fastidious bacteria, as well as some vectors which are able to mediate disease or spread diseases like mosquitoes, flies, insects, helminths, etc. So therefore, here I would like to focus infectious waste. I'll let you know. So before that, how we are going to group biomedical waste based on the sources which are available. Example, primary source: hospitals, nursing homes, veterinary hospital, clinic, dispensaries, blood. Those all comes under primary source, and the rest of other source which may include households, industries, education institution, and research centers. Right. So it has been estimated that India has, each hospital in India producing 1.5 kilogram of biomedical waste per day. Okay, now according to their chemical properties and other physical properties, the biomedical waste can be grouped into two types: hazardous and non-hazardous. Hazardous, maybe it is accounted for 15%
Excuse me,
out
sir.
of total waste.
Excuse me,
Non-hazardous,
sir. Sorry.
pardon?
Sir, our slide is not moving, sir.
Now, it's okay, ma'am?
Now in second slide.
Okay. What about you now?
Set to change, sir.
Seen, ma'am?
1 second, sir. It to change. It's loading.
It's okay, ma'am? Now, have you seen?
No, sir. Could you reshare, sir?
For 1 minute. What about now, ma'am?
Now change, sir. Now you can proceed.
Okay, 1 minute. Could you see, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. right? So generally, the biomedical waste could be grouped into two types, hazardous and non-hazardous, according to their chemical and physical properties. So of these total, 15% of them are known as hazardous, and the remaining 80% are referred to as non-hazardous. So here we should be very take care of, I think so very careful about only the 15% of hazardous biomedical waste, since it is called as infectious waste. So I'll let me tell you here, according to the characteristics and composition, the biomedical waste can be grouped into several types. Here, I have noted you infectious waste, pathological waste, sharp waste, chemical waste, pharmaceutical waste, cytotoxic waste, radioactive waste, non-hazardous or general waste. Among these, infectious waste is so dangerous. Why it is so dangerous? Let me tell you now. Infectious wastes is bearing a lot of pathogenic microorganism as well as some water content. So therefore, what will happen that it encourages indirectly so many pathogenic microorganism, that microorganism can sustain for a long time in biomedical waste, especially blood and pus and some urine content of the bio waste. So therefore, and also that the infectious waste is not only containing some microorganism, it is also provided with so many antibiotics and medicines and so many chemicals. All those such chemicals can make bacteria so mutant. Therefore, all those bacteria become so virulent. So they even
1 second, sir.
Pardon?
Excuse me, sir.
Pardon, ma'am? It's not audible.
Sir, slide is in fourth slide.
Oh. 1 minute.
Fourth slide is visible. I think you finished 5th and 6th, right, sir?
Oh. 1 minute, ma'am. 1 minute. Could you see, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now you can proceed.
Okay. Okay, so the infectious waste which contains too much of organisms, especially pathogenic organism, which can sustain for a long time in the biomedical waste, as well as they got some mutation due to the presence of some unwanted chemicals, especially antibiotics and so many medical based chemicals. Okay, so all those chemicals can make the bacteria as virulent. So now could able to tolerate any antibiotics to be applied for diagnostic purpose. Okay, now even it has been reported, several studies have reported, including in our lab like that, we have found a single organism which can make resistant against more than 10 antibiotics. So now what we are going to do in future, we don't know that exactly, but what would be the solution for this? Only vaccination. So vaccination should be encouraged in order to reduce such kind of biochemical waste as well as pathogenic organism, emerging of pathogenic organism. Okay. Next. Okay, now, so the infectious agent can cause you several infections since The content of human sample may contain various organisms, therefore, that especially infectious sample should be viewed as very serious one. Here I have listed you what are the infection can be spreaded by infectious waste material as well, especially the human sample. So in another way like that, the next after infectious agent waste, we have that another important waste like that household biomedical waste. It is generating in all homes nowadays. So when we are using that, some other medical aids such as expired drug, bandages, syringes, sanitary napkins, disposable diapers, expired cosmetics, blood-stained cloth, used ointment tubes, etc. So when we use it in home like that, so it may also be indirectly encourage the growth of unwanted bacteria as well as virus as well as some other causative agent in home also that. Therefore, we should be very careful about using all those medical aids at home. So who will be suffered a lot because of this biomedical waste, especially medical doctors, nurses, healthcare helpers, hospital maintenance personnel, visitors to hospital, workers in waste disposal facilities. So all those persons will be the first persons who are in risk. And also that not only they are getting infection due to these biomedical waste, and also at certain period they may become like that carrier. So they won't get any infection. Instead of that, they can spread diseases to others where they are going, where they are meeting other persons. So that organism may be conveyed to or spread to other persons. That right. Now, what will happen that when we doing mismanagement of biomedical waste is a very important to focus nowadays like that. Okay. Especially in India, so we are getting too much of problem with the biomedical waste due to improper management, and also that we are making highly non-hygienic for the environment, and also that it may cause you a serious health threat for inhabitants. And also that why it is happening that because we are not follow the biomedical waste rules strictly. Moreover, when we do improper management of biomedical waste, what would happen that in the biomedical waste would also do the process like that emerging of toxic gases. When we do burning of them, I mean, without any safety measures like that. So when we do burning of medical waste, it can emit some other toxic emission that would also cause severe infection to the inhabitants of the area, particular area, right? Then another problem began it, there is a high volume of plastic use in medical field. So why we are using it? Since it is a lightweight, cost effective, durable for a long time. That's why the industries are preparing to use plastic use, but unfortunately it make a huge problem in ecosystem, because when we burn it, what would happen that it emits very dangerous gas as well as carcinogenic gases. So that will be seen later. So our World Health Organization has reported 26% of the death worldwide caused by there's a biomedical waste, especially infectious waste. So in this background, we must be very alert, and also that the I think that all people should be made very alert in handling biomedical waste. Then the effect of biomedical waste on ecosystems. What will happen that when we do poor or improper management of biomedical waste, they may cause severe effect to the environmental through air, water, and land pollution. 1 minute. Minimize போலாம். Okay, let me continue. So what would happen? So mainly the health risk may be generated from release of pathogens and toxic pollutants into the environment, and also that our land fills with untreated healthcare waste. So what will happen that it may contaminate not only land part as well as it may contaminate drinking waters, surface waters, and ground waters of ecosystem. So therefore, and also in addition, when we do improper treatment of waste material, it add some unwanted chemical into the environment, especially when we use of high concentration of chemical disinfectant, that may also be disturbed much of our ecosystem. Right. Inadequate incineration or in the incineration of unsuitable material may also cause air pollution, and also that it generates some ash residue, so it will affect the respiratory system of the people who are residing in the particular area. And also when we do improper incineration of materials, what will happen that it also emits some unwanted gases, especially carcinogenic gases, dioxins and furan, so which may cause severe or which may stimulate cancer in the human being. So that should also be avoided to incinerate any biomedical waste on open land, in open land. Okay. Apart from that, when we do incineration of biomedical waste, what will happen that it will also add some heavy metals which are able to act as carcinogenic, so can stimulate cancer to the consumers, especially lead, mercury, cadmium. So that will be left into the environment when we do improper incineration of biomedical waste. Right. So especially in the ecosystem that biomedical waste can cause air pollution. How it is making air pollutions? Just we have to see here. When we, especially air pollutions may be due to burning of biomedical waste. So it will pollute the entire part of the biotic system of ecosystem. Here, and also that when we do incinerations, mix different pollutant. I mean, it may generate different pollutant which which make pollute the environment, especially that can be grouped into 3 types: biological pollutant, chemical pollutant, radioactive pollutant. All these 3 pollutants are generated from the biomedical waste. First of all, the biological pollutant, which contains various pathogenic organisms, which is able to cause a severe infection in the consumer. So that is called biological pollutant. Not only bacteria, virus, protozoa, and so many things can be generated from air pollution like that. Especially hospital acute infection, nosocomial infection can also be caused through air pollution. And also that the dust in air particles may bear too much of tubercle bacilli, which can cause severe infection to the person who have inhaled such infected air, I mean contaminated air. Right. Factors causing indoor air pollution, I mean inside of the campus or institution or research station or inside of the laboratory. So main reason would begin the air pollution is poor ventilation. So poor ventilation lead a severe pollution in such area, I mean closed area. Especially the building design, so actors major role in maintaining air pollution, getting air pollution. Faulty air conditioner is also main reason behind it. And when we use of some chemical as disinfectant, fumigants in the closed area, what will happen that it also emit acidic and hazardous gases into air. Therefore, that air is not suitable for respiratory purpose. Then what will happen with the outdoor air pollutions like that is mainly caused by pathogens. It's mainly generated by when we incinerate any biomedical waste in open area, right? So especially the pathogens like Vibrio cholerae and Salmonella typhi and other bacteria which can cause more especially alimentary canal infection is all due to air infection. And chemical pollutant is also taken much role in biomedical hazard, and also chemical pollutant especially which is able to cause outdoor air pollution. So how it has been generated means that can be generated by two methods: open burning and incinerators. So open burning of biomedical waste in open area, what will happen that it produce too much of gases like that, sulfur, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, I mean in oxide form. And also that all those gases may cause respiratory diseases to the humans. And also that certain organic gases, especially dioxins, furans, are carcinogenic in nature. So that is also generated by chemical pollutant as part of air pollution. Apart from that, some more chemical reactions also taken place while we incinerate any biomedical waste in open place, especially oxidation of hydrogen and sulfide. And also that due to some bacteria in the biomedical waste, so the decomposition process may be taken place there. So what will happen that after decomposition process, in the absence of some air, that means mediated by anaerobic bacteria, sulfur dioxide can be generated. That sulfur dioxide would be the major reason behind acid rain, as you have known. Okay, then dioxin. So today's it is a very, very important to monitor the process and the presence of dioxins and furans when we incinerate any biomedical waste in the hospital area or any other area. When we do it like that, both the gases are emitted from the waste. So they cause like that. So they would be the main reason behind causing cancer in among the human being. Okay, then dioxin, especially a group of chemical component which is referred to as persistent environmental pollutant. That means it remains very long period in the atmosphere. So therefore that should be taken as important matter. And also dioxin and furans both are highly toxic, can cause so many illness to the people, consumer, especially reproductive system, and developmental problems may be raised, and it may strongly damage the immune system of the human body. So after that, the people may become immunosuppressant people when they consume or respirate more quantity, more concentration of dioxin and furan. And also that may cause damage in the hormonal system of the human body. So finally, the consumer, I think that the human being may get cancer due to the high concentration of dioxins and furans in the particular atmosphere. Right. So apart from that, when we incinerate some biomedical agent, what would happen that a small particles may be generated that will be penetrated into lungs through respiratory organs. So it may cause a severe damage or severe problem among the people. So incineration in open area, I mean, without any preventive measures, so it may cause a severe damage among the human people. Sorry, human. Then emission standard. Every hospital or medical laboratory, whatever may be like that, they should monitor the emission standard when we incinerate or when we disposal and when we dispose any biomedical agent. Especially here, the chart has depicted the emission standard of different chemical component in air. So the table has illustrated in the small hospital, the quantity of particular matter, carbon monoxide, dioxin, and cadmium, mercury, and some more chemical components would be so high when compared to medium hospital and large hospital. So in the small hospital, what will happen that it has no such preventive measure and disposal system. So therefore, the small hospital would be the major source for source of biomedical waste and contaminating the total land as well as air and water also like that. So here the standard value is given to all hospitals. So when they across the value as given here, so the alarm must be given and also they must be warned, otherwise it may spoil the entire ecosystem of the earth. Then next, another pollutant, especially radioactive chemicals, which is also major part of biomedical waste that should be eliminated very carefully before disposing the medical waste, especially where it is generated only from research area and radio immunoassay activities of any medical laboratory. So they are disposing that much quantity of these radioactive chemicals into the surrounding, especially ecosystem. And most of the radioactive chemicals are available as radioactive, released as radioactive gas, especially krypton and xenon. Krypton, Kr, and Xe, that is a symbol of xenon. So
me,
both
sir.
are.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, each speaker has 30 minutes time. So accordingly, you present, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, so let me tell you that the reason begins why I think that what would happen, I mean, what is the problem to follow the enforcement of rules, especially pertaining to biomedical management, because no honesty in proposals like that, and also that the proposal is not, I think, practiced at their home. I mean, small nursing home, so they have no such a proper system for waste disposal, and also that practitioner, doctors is not registered in any government organization in order to avoid income tax, and also that they are given some pressure, especially with the aspect of profit motto and poor law enforcement by local bodies. I mean, local municipalities or a corporation have not given any enforcement among the hospital and other medical industries. So on the lack of importance given for education and waste management, and the proposal does not attract as many laws as industry, they are not ready to follow it, and also lack of awareness among the people, especially deal with biomedical waste, and inadequate training among the people who are handling biomedical waste, as well as insufficient financial allotment to do the biomedical management. And many countries still do not have appropriate regulation and do not enforce them. These are all the reasons behind failure in following several rules for biomedical management. So what I'm suggesting this forum to make our land without biomedical waste. I mean, without any due to pollution. So intensive training program must be initiated at regular time interval for all staff members, and also system of monitoring of information, education, and the communication practice of biomedical management should be evolved. And also that about biomedical waste management, some posters should be displayed in hospital and even research centers or medical industries and so many places. So, and the intensive training program should be given regular interval. Then framing of national standards and adequate financing and human resourcing should be given towards biomedical waste management, and strengthening implementing national policies and standards, and developing a system to assess and verify compliance with the national standards, recognition of facilities by various accreditation. So in this great moment, I would like to demand the both organization of NIDM and Hindustan University. So your effort towards making awareness about biomedical management among the people is a very appreciable one. And also that it is my suggestion that you people should also come forward to add the portion. I mean, add some information about the biomedical management in the curriculum of 10th standard onwards, like that. I mean, even the school students should also know that the problem began the biomedical waste. So that should be given. I mean, the awareness must be created among the school people as well as college people. So even though they are belonging to the various disciplines like chemistry, physics, or whatever may be like that, the students must be given some awareness about biomedical waste treatment, and also that it will help them to get escape from that pollution, especially. So once again, I thank you all for having me, for giving me the great opportunity to deliver my speech on impact of biomedical waste on environment as well as health hazard. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your wonderful presentation. Actually, as you're an environmental scientist, I have one question to you. So nowadays, disposable Petri plates and disposable pipettes and everything is available in that way. So what's your point of view towards this, sir?
Pardon, ma'am, I couldn't listen to you. Please. Ma'am, could you repeat? Repeat.
Sir, nowadays we have disposable Petri plates. It is made up of PET.
Yeah.
So you're saying that we should not use it. But
I think that the disposable Petri plate, disposable whatever may be plastic material should be recycled and maybe used as basic material for making road, and maybe added along with the cement for construction purpose like that. So should be taken for recycling. Otherwise, it makes a huge problem in future. No other go.
Thank you, sir. In that way, if we want to decontaminate that kind of plates, how can we do that, sir? It's maybe
decontamination.
Yes, it is sensitive to heat, right? So how can we dispose the contagious microorganism if we culture in the Petri plates?
Yeah, that's it. So you have that autoclaving, and decontamination can be done with autoclave before disposal to the environment like that should be decontaminated. I think the most of the hospital and the medical laboratory, what they did actually, they given more priority in sterilizing all those materials before giving any diagnosis to the human being. But after diagnosis process, they never bother about in disposal system, especially What they think like that, it consumes more expenses for decontamination and everything like that. Therefore, they never bother about when they dispose any used material into the ecosystem. So it is a major reason. And disposable, I mean, decontamination can be done by autoclave, madam. No issue like that. Instead of using any chemicals.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. But one more thing, from one place to another place, that medical wastes are carried in lorry and disposed in another area. So in as a diagnostic, as you are running the diagnostic laboratory, what is your point of view, sir?
Yeah, ma'am, that is the very biggest problem nowadays. Actually, in Tripur, is just you could see there. I think that all textile industry have a common treatment plant. I mean, effluent treatment plant. Otherwise, government will not permit them do any kind of production there. Same like that. If any hospitals or more than 10 hospitals or by 5 hospitals in particular area, they should have a common treatment plant actually. That should be very near to them. And even a big hospital will be constructed means they should be given permission only when they install a separate treatment plant for biomedical waste. Otherwise, permission should not be given to them by the government. So very difficult to, so it may spread more bacteria as well as more contamination to the ecosystem when it is transported from one place to other place. So can be curbed only by constructing individual treatment plant, unless it will be very question mark. Hello.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your suggestion.
Okay.
And thank you for your wonderful presentation and for the Q&A session, sir. So now I invite the third speaker of the session, Dr. C. Elizabeth Ronnie, HOD, Department of Biotechnology, HCS Chennai. And she will be doing the presentation on need of biomedical waste management system in hospitals and emerging issue. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Nirmala. Yes, I'm going to talk about need of biomedical waste management system in hospitals, an emerging issue. And we have been listening to various talks by the eminent personalities in the last, around 6-7 talks we have listened, which are very much useful to everyone. Wait. Sorry. Yeah. So far we have covered what are the sources of biomedical waste, and how it will be segregated, and then how it will be treated, and what are the infectious diseases which are transmitted through such kind of biomedical waste, and then what are the standard operating procedures which are adapted to treat them, and also the policies, the updated policies up to 2016, how it is regulated, and what is the policy says, the laws, what are the laws are there with regard to this biomedical waste management. Today, I'm going to talk about some more emerging issues additionally, which are not touched by the other previous speakers. So as we all know that this biomedical management is actually dealt by according to the Environmental Protection Agency's rules and regulations with the help of hospital administration. So definitely we have to strictly follow the guidelines starting from the segregation of the biomedical waste. So if it is not segregated and disposed of, then definitely the prevalence of infections spreaded through this biomedical waste will be very high. And so if you do collection and then segregation also, the rate of infections transmitted through such kind of biomedical waste will be very high. So what we have to do is segregation and then the collection process must be done. That will be little more useful to reduce the spread of the infection. So, and apart from that, we are supposed to update the treatment technologies. We have to adapt new technologies, like we have to try to recycle the biomedical waste. We have to develop a product from these waste, and then we have to have an advanced techniques like microwave treatment, alkaline hydrolysis, steam sterilization processes, catalytic solar disinfection methods, nanotechnology, smart handling procedures, and also we have to adapt artificial intelligence. Such kind of newer technologies will be really helpful to sort out the issues related to it. And why do we much bother about this biomedical waste management is that because we are having too much to handle. There are, around 22 states as well as union territories are showing more amount of this biomedical waste generation than their capacity to degrade them. So that's a great issue which we are facing nowadays. So that is the reason. So here it shows that, out of 22 states and union territories which are having more generation of biomedical waste, which is above their, beyond their limit or capacity to treat them. So that's the thing. And here this particular picture shows that the periodic increase of this biomedical waste generation and the capacity to treat them. So which also shows very clearly that we are generating more biomedical waste, but the capacity to treat them is not up to the mark. That means we have not reached 100% treatment capacity levels. So why do the hospital should have this kind of facility means? And because a lot of infections which are transmitted, like the previous speaker said, a lot of infectious agents are transmitted through this, and people who are living in that vicinity are more prone to this infectious agents. So, and in addition to that, a lot of other issues to pollution in air, water, and soil are also happening. So it must be treated properly. In the case of developed countries, it is properly done, systematically done. So there the risk of transmission of infection from this biomedical waste are little limited when compared to our country. They are doing it in a proper, appropriate manner, and they are following the recommendations like disinfection technology, regulation, and legislation, and all that they are taking care, and they are re-establishing it after the COVID-19 pandemic, and also and minimizing household medical waste, and they are managing it in a better way. And continuously they're updating about these kind of infectious agents, as well as prevention. And prevention is better than cure. We know about it. So these developed countries are well aware of it, and they are following it, but we are yet to go a long way. And here is a methodology followed, okay, for the biomedical waste treatment. They'll separate a solid and liquid waste, and the liquid waste will be treated separately, and the solid waste will be segregated based on their infectious rate or levels, and according to the color code it will be added. And also, and then it will be transported into different ways. Okay, so if it is highly infectious, it will be then the yellow and black bags, as we know, and that will be incinerated and treated by pyrolysis, or deep burial process will be done. And if it is a little more lesser way, toxic, then it will be there in the red, blue, and white. We have learned about it from yesterday's speaker, Dr. Varadilakshmi, engineer Varadilakshmi madam. She clearly mentioned and how it should be collected and segregated and all that. So those things will go to autoclaving, microwave treatment, or chemical disinfection, and all that. And then it will be finally shredded or recycled. Then it will go to the disposal process. So this liquid waste, what should be done for the liquid waste means it should be collected in a leak-proof containers, and then it will go to bath screening. The primary treatment process will be happening then, and then coagulation, flocculation, or adsorption process will be done, and then further this effluent will be treated by the secondary treatment steps like activated sludge process, or membrane bioreactors will be used, moving bed biofilm reactors will be used to treat them. And then it will go to again gravity settlement tank, and then further it will be treated by tertiary treatment process like chemical oxidation or catalytic adsorption, nanofiltration, reverse osmosis, and then finally it will be disinfected, and then you can recycle them. Here is the question then. See, we are really treating the entire pollutants present in the biomedical waste at this moment or not? That's a great question, because even though we do this primary, secondary, and tertiary treatment processes, still some are present in the effluent. So we must know about, we must have little awareness about this emerging drug resistance through this biomedical waste. So from this effluent, many studies stating that these microorganisms, drug resistant microbes, are transmitted into the environment and further into it is infecting the people. So we all know that this antimicrobial agents will kill the microorganisms based on cell wall synthesis inhibition, like vancomycin, cephalosporin, and other beta-lactam antibiotics, bacitracin, and all that will be inhibiting the cell wall to kill the pathogen, or else it will inhibit the protein synthesis, or else nucleic acid synthesis will be inhibited. In such a way, this antimicrobial agents will act on the pathogen to kill them. But they are developing various ways in which it is trying to escape from this activity of antimicrobial agent and developing antimicrobial resistance against drugs. So that's a major problem nowadays we are facing. So we all know about this methicillin drug resistant microorganisms, especially methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus, and that is a very old problem. Still it is prevailing, and still it is there, which is causing a lot of problems. So this kind of bacteria will cause bloodstream infection or surgical site infection, and pneumonia also caused by them. And it is also causing a kind of a skin wound kind of infection, skin trauma, and all that are caused by them. In addition to that, abscesses and cellulitis are caused by them. And apart from that, another important problematic bacteria is vancomycin resistant enterococci. That vancomycin resistant enterococci, that is also a very problematic one, which is resistant, drug resistant bacteria against vancomycin, in addition to other antibiotics also. And this vancomycin resistant enterococci can live in humans without causing any disease if their immunity is good. But when they have poor immune response, they'll start causing infection. And how to prevent them? Previous treatment with vancomycin, if it is there, means very difficult to treat them. So we have to, it is very difficult to treat such kind of a problem. We have to have more, effective antibiotics to treat such kind of infections caused by this vancomycin resistant enterococci. And apart from that, is carbapenem is another problem. Carbapenem resistant enterobacteria is another problem. It is also causing major, a problem and causing death also nowadays. And vancomycin resistant enterococcus, which is responsible for around 1,300 deaths every year, and people are still struggling to get rid of it. And apart from that, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Actinobacter baumannii are other bacteria which are also causing infection due to this multiple drug resistance. So how what we can do is that definitely we have to look for a better alternative solution rather than to have this conventional method of treatment processes. Nowadays, during this COVID-19 scenario, we are having more active antibiotics. A combined therapy and all is given. Here is one example, that beta-lactam antibiotic with clavulanate is given. Augmentin is a antibacterial drug given, but it is also not effective for many people due to this emerging problem. So a lot of research is going on in this. So they are trying to find out what are the various genes responsible for emerging these kind of extended spectrum beta lactamase infections. Okay, and they are working on it and finding out how it can be treated, how such kind of effluent can be treated. So there is a possibility of having this membrane technology, having hybrid technology, and ultrafiltration, nano technology based filtration processes, reverse osmosis, and these kind of newer technologies must be adapted to remove such kind of problems, okay, from the biomedical waste. Here they have done another experiment using this ozonization. So they have found out that it is also much more efficient than the conventional method of treatment processes. So I would like to conclude in this moment that we have to revise our treatment strategies. In addition to having the conventional treatment methodologies, we have to find out what kind of pollutants are still existing in the treated water, and accordingly newer technologies must be adapted to get rid of such kind of pollutants, especially the problems associated with drug resistance. Thank you, one and all present here. Thank you.
Dear participants, the feedback link is shared in the chat box. Please fill it. And if you have any queries for the third speaker's presentation, you can post it in the Q&A session. Dear participants, please fill the feedback form. And finally, we have the valedictory session. Please stay in line.
Hello, participants. Do you have any questions? I was little hurry up because I thought the other person is waiting. So only I was little faster. So if you have any doubt, kindly ask. There are a lot more to do in this particular field because, so many genes, newer genes are emerging day by day. They are causing drug resistance. The bacteria, it has become more cleverer than us. Okay, it is escaping and trying a lot of strategies by which, it is developing such kind of drug resistant mechanism. That's the reason. So we have to, lot of research have been done. So far, it is showing resistant to various antibiotics, not only vancomycin or methicillin. Now it is, I told you about augmentin. That's a drug is prescribed nowadays during this COVID period. Even for that, it has developed resistance. So you're seeing a gram-positive bacterial cell wall, and usually we will treat them using beta-lactam antibiotic like penicillin and derivatives. And since it is not working, it has been combined with clavulanate, and even then the microbes have developed antimicrobial resistance against this augmentin. That's the thing. So you can also think about such kind of research in future. You can analyze water sample coming from your area hospital. Effluent can be analyzed to see the presence of such kind of drug resistant bacteria, and a lot of things can be done in this particular field. Thank you.
So if we do not have any question from the participants, we can move further. Dr. Elizabeth.
Excuse me, sir. We are waiting for the valedictory address speaker. So now he is joining. So we have to make him as a panelist to proceed further.
Okay, so he has not joined yet, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's trying to join now.
Okay, but Dr. Ilumulai is there. He is raising hand. So please check.
Now. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Now.
கை ரேஸ் பண்ண
Dear participants, hope you fill the feedback form. Now we move on to the valedictory address.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
குட் ஆஃப்டர்நூன்மா வந்துட்டேன்னு நினைக்கிறேன்
ஆமா வந்துட்டீங்க சார். Thank you so much. Congratulations, sir.
ஓகேமா ஓகே
Very happy to
Thank
know
you,
that
thank
our
you.
board chairman has become a registrar of University of Madras. We are very happy, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So,
Thank you, ma'am.
students, you can also.
So
Yes, sir. So now I would like to invite our eminent Professor Dr. S. Ilmalai, sir, our head for Department of Biotechnology, University of Madras. Now he's a registrar of University of Madras. It's a very great honor to have you with us, sir, today. Now, sir will deliver a valedictory address. Over to you, sir.
thank you, ma. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I audible? Okay.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor and Honorable Minister for Higher Education to giving me the opportunity to act as the prestigious university's registrar full time. And as all of you know that I am basically a biotechnologist and that too biologist. So very happy to participate and to deliver the valedictory address of this great event. I'm not expert on medical waste disposal, but then having some little knowledge about on that. In past COVID, we are facing many things like wearing mask, wearing gloves, shoes, socks, all this. And apart from that, we are spraying many things like chemical spraying and disposing some plastic wares, all this. So earlier it was not so much aware of all these things. In the recent past, about 2 years, we are facing this not only corona pandemic, other communicable disease as well. And after communication and IT information technology comes a lot of sedentary lifestyle, a lot of communicable disease. People are moving from one country to another country. So they are transmitting the diseases, all this. So naturally, there are 3 points. First point, based on the lifestyle diseases and then communicable diseases due to some novel pathogens. So these are the 3 issues. It creates a lot of medical devices, making use of medical equipments, instruments, devices, and disposables. Coming to disposable, not like Western countries or Europe or US, they are strictly following the disposal mechanism. For example, if you want to dispose yellow box, you have to dispose the item to the yellow box only. If you want to dispose certain item in green box, you have to dispose in green box and red box and blue box. There are 4 boxes based on the color they are disposing. But if you look at India, it's slowly picking up, and the majority of the hospitals and medical healthcare institutions, they are not bothering about the disposal mechanism, especially radioactive waste disposal, radioactive handled equipments, how to handling the radioactive materials, especially in the cancer-based hospitals, like cancer diagnostic hospitals, all these. So there are 3 issues. One, during the diagnostic things like a lot of diagnostic laboratories are they're not following the proper disposal mechanisms. And during pathogenesis, like the person who is more on infected with many diseases, especially viral diseases, it's very easily communicable than other diseases. Bacterial and viral diseases are very serious and very easily communicable. It's airborne. And when you are facing diseases, people are not following the proper mechanism, especially the pandemic period, even our own state. That is a reality. Even though we have certain rules and regulations, we are unable to follow how to dispose the used masks, how to dispose the used gloves, all these. And some of the cases, they are not even using all these. So the point is, during diagnosis, we are disposing many things like testing chemicals, devices, disposable testing kits, all this. Another thing, pathogenesis, they are again taking tissues and taking blood sample, all this. That time also they are not properly disposing the used materials like syringes or plasters, all this, cotton, a pinch of cotton, all this. To go to treatment part, as I told earlier, there are a lot of cytogenetic using radioactive therapy or radiotherapy based chemicals, materials. They are not again disposing properly. Some are not well trained. That is the reason they are not properly disposing the items. So we have to give proper training how to dispose all this. Having said, I have my own experience. I have been one of the nominated member by Government of India in the Swachh Bharat, how to dispose the medical waste in 11 different medical colleges in Tamil Nadu. So I don't want to name the college, but the outskirts of Chennai, they have one medical college. They don't bother about the cotton bundles and the material. Simply they throw it in the neighboring ponds. But at the same time, we have in the heart of the city, we have a medical college. They came in India ranking, they came 5th place and they got 5 crore worth of cash award from Prime Minister. Because they followed this disposal in a proper way, given by the guidance given by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and ICMR. So what I'm saying, the 2 extremes we are facing. So they are first segregating the waste, cotton, plastics, blue box, red box, green box, and yellow box. accordingly they are disposing. The waste in some cases. Some cases people are incinerating and getting out of ashes, and these may be used for some other purposes. So the point is we have to educate our school kids, especially because they are the task bearers of Indian science in the near future. So we have to educate them properly how to dispose even a small plaster or a small cotton which they use for the treatment, all this. So it has to be included in the school curriculum how to dispose the medical waste, because in the coming years it will be a very big problem. For example, multi-drug resistance. If you are throwing some chemicals in the environment, there may be some bugs may be growing and it will resist or it will withstand all kinds of chemicals. So you get the multi-drug resistance strains. So based on that, naturally you don't respond, or the patient won't respond to antibiotic. So in the near future, we may come across millions of multi-drug resistant bugs like bacterial strains. So we have to be very cautious about disposing anything from the healthcare and hospital-based waste. So I told already, I have been seen around 11 medical colleges in the state. Almost 30% medical colleges are doing well. Rest of them are not justifying on their own guidelines and regulations given by the premier institutions or the nodal agencies. Again, another, for example, if you take in Karnataka, they are having a multi institutions like contract clinical trials. They undertaking some projects from outside India, and they are undergoing these projects with Indian soil for want of money or creation of some job. But it is, to my knowledge, it's unethical, because they are dumping a lot of unwanted bacterial viral strains in Indian soil, and there are a lot of multi-drug resistance strains are coming here, and they are sacrificing a number of animals which is endangered. So, for example, monkey trial, chimpanzee trial, it's all happening here and there, knowingly or unknowingly. And there are a lot of issues around animal ethical committee. Without the knowledge of nodal agencies, they are sacrificing hundreds of animals. These are the issues around clinical trials. So what I'm saying, altogether, we have to have a very good and clear guidelines with reference to diseases, pathogenesis, treatment point, healthcare hospitals, healthcare institutions, clinical trial institutions. So one has to thoroughly follow the guidelines given by this, and try to avoid the undertaking the contract clinical trial to Indian soil from the other countries. So what I'm saying, the school kids especially, they have to nurture, or they have to teach about how to dispose the basic or simple medical based waste, not only the household waste, apart from this kind of healthcare based waste. If you look at some hospitals, Bay-end hospitals, outskirts, you get tons and tons of glass waste, plastic waste, and cotton waste, all this. Simply they are throwing it, and it is all blocking in the water channels and the neighboring lakes, all this. Not only blocking the channels of water bodies, it harms the environment as well as the human population. And there are some zoonotic virus and bacteria are available. And some bacteria and viruses, which is they are undergoing some clinical trial, it is naturally infecting the human being, especially the vulnerable group like age-old people and the kids. So naturally, it is easily transmitting from one species or as a genus to another genus. So these are all the issues, not only in India. Majority of the Asian countries, they are want of money, they are undertaking some projects like clinical trial from a European country, and they are undergoing here knowingly or unknowingly. A lot of pharma companies are doing these things, and pharmacovigilance is, to my knowledge, has to be tightened. And pharmacological institutions, pharmacology, like pharma industries, how they are disposing, tons and tons of unwanted chemicals and waste disposal from pharma industries, especially in Gummadipundi and Sriperumbudur and Ahmedabad in India. These are the places they are dumping tons and tons of medical waste, especially pharma waste, the industrial pharma waste, which is highly toxic to the water table as well as the soil and the human and environment. Some of them are giving a kind of inflammable. Some of them are gaseous form, obnoxious gaseous form. They are released from maybe pharma industries. And these all inducing oncogens or inducing methylation or the cancer population. So I can talk a number of hours regarding this medical waste disposal, especially with Indian context or Indian perspective. But there has to be a very clear guidelines, and the enforcing agency has to be very strict on this. And with these few words, I am very much thankful to the authorities of Hindustan University and Hindustan College to giving me the opportunity, especially Dr. Elizabeth, the head of the Department of Biotechnology, my good old friend, and Dr. Thirumagan, principal of the college, and Chancellor Dr. Elizabeth also giving me the opportunity to share my experience on medical waste disposal. But I have, even though I am a marine biotechnologist, after having visiting all these 11 medical colleges, how do they dispose there and how they are maintaining the radioactive therapy rooms and surgical rooms, all this, I had a very good experience on this. And I thank Government of India also to appointing me as the Swachh Bharat Commission member to inspect these kind of premier institutions, how they are disposing all this. Thank you so much. Dr.
Thank you so much,
Elizabeth.
sir, for your valuable inputs. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, it is really a great honor for us. And you gave a lot of inputs. Thank you so much for that too, sir. Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, sir, over to Ali Haider, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Elizabeth, and I'm very thankful to Dr. Illumulai, the Registrar of the University of Madras, for sparing his time from his busy schedule. So thank you, sir. So as Professor Santosh is not able to join as he's in a meeting right now, so we can conclude this 3 days training program by putting the formal vote of thanks on record. So, Dr. Elizabeth, is there someone to give the vote of thanks?
I will propose vote of thanks, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So first of all, I would like to thank the God Almighty for providing such kind of great opportunity to do this training program, 3 days training program on community-based disaster risk reduction for biomedical waste management in collaboration with National Institute of Disaster Management. Thank you so much for providing this support, sir, NIDM. From the NIDM, we could able to do many programs. It's a 4th program we are conducting in collaboration with you, sir. Thanks a lot for the officials of NIDM as well as Ali Haider, sir. You are the great, I mean, the bridge between us and NIDM. Thank you, sir, for providing this opportunity. I would like to thank our management also. They supported us and they approved our request letter, and accordingly it was done. And Madam Dr. Susan Martandan, she is always instrumental to do such kind of great thing for the betterment of the society as well as for the student community. I would like to thank our director, Madam, also in this juncture. I would like to thank Professor Santosh Kumar, head NIDM, and he was also very cheerful and he was giving a lot of inputs during his keynote address. Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank our Vice Principal Academics and Research, Dr. S. Ilanjiam, for her support. Thank you, ma'am. And I would like to thank all the technical speakers, Dr. Andrea Mary from Sri Ramachandra Institute of Higher Education and Research, Chennai, Dr. S. Lalita from Vivek Institute of Laboratory Medicine, Nagarkoil, and Dr. Ali Haider, sir, and our faculty members, and the next day, second day speakers, Engineer H.D. Varalakshmi, Madam from CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board. Madam is a regional director. In spite of her busy schedule, she would able to join with us and spoke about biomedical management rules 2016. Thank you, madam. And I would like to thank Dr. M.D. Dwarakanath sir, former member secretary and director, DST Pondicherry Pollution Control Committee. Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank Dr. R. Vigila Christie from Vivek Laboratories, Nagarkoil. Thank you, ma'am. And I would like to thank today's speakers to Dr. Sadasivam, Associate Professor from Department of Microbial Biotechnology, Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore. Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank Dr. Thanga Mariappan, sir, Principal Vivek Laboratory, Nagarkoil. I would like to thank our Professor Dr. S. Elumalai, sir, the Registrar of University of Madras, for his valuable valedictory address. Thank you so much. And finally, I would like to thank all the participants. Without you, this program would have not been a success, and we could able to get around 120 participants, the maximum number. And thank you so much, all the participants and the faculty members who have connected from various institutions all over India. And I would like to thank our faculty members who have been my pillar of support. And my special thanks to Dr. Ishwar Lakshmi, Dr. Nirmala, Ms. Pricey Joybel, Dr. Ramesh, Dr. LKS, and all the and one more faculty, Dr. Amir, and all the faculty were very much supportive to me. Thank you, one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Elizabeth, for your coordination. Thank you. So we can end the session now.
And we have posted the assessment questions as well as the feedback. Participants, kindly fill it. Thank you.